Hey, what's going on, everybody? Check this out, the Huawei Watch GT. Now, I got a really good looking version of it. I love this brown to black, and there's actually this silver trim to it. And the watch strap is actually really cool because it looks like a leather strap on top, but then on the bottom portion, the part that touches your skin, it's more of a silicone, more plastic strap. I just wanted to put that out there right off the bat because I've been using a lot of all black everything smartwatches lately, so it's nice to have this little change of pace. Alright, so the Huawei Watch GT was recently made available across major retailers, and you might be wondering if this smartwatch is for you. I would argue, however, as I always do, that the types of users for this product are not quite what you think. Why, you might ask? Well, I think the term watch to describe this device is kind of a misdirection. There's a lot about this smartwatch that actually doesn't fall into the conventions of what typical smartwatches have. If anything, I call this the anti-smartwatch. The first reason is because of the design. It certainly has the look of a premium timepiece, one that you would keep in a leather case alongside all the other watches. Huawei has done a good job with the physical portions of the watch, which have two buttons to access either the app drawer or to go straight to workout options. The body is waterproof with a 5 ATM rating, and when you look closer, the body does not get much thicker than the buttons themselves. As far as smartwatches go, the Watch GT has a very slim profile. That might tell you one key thing already. There are some very mindful omissions in the overall experience. But not with the screen, which is a high-quality AMOLED display at 1.4 inches. The colors look great, and the watch faces included in the operating system do a pretty good job of taking advantage of the gamut. The only problem here, though, as you can kind of see, there's no proper always-on option. With an AMOLED display, I feel like this was a missed opportunity. I get, like I said, that there are mindful omissions with this watch, but I do wish that it was at least an option. So from an aesthetic standpoint, this is just about anything you would want from a smartwatch. The screen is great, albeit slightly flawed, and the design is really eye-catching and pleasing to just about anyone because of its size. But the rest of the spec sheet won't sound like your typical smartwatch. There is only 128 megabytes of storage made for pre-installed applications, so there's no music storage. Even Huawei themselves won't easily name the processor found inside, which is supposedly a dual chip that is geared towards low power processes for better battery life. And speaking of battery life, it is basically this watch's main focus as it tries to eke out as much as possible from 420 milliamp hours. And then there's the operating system, itself called Light OS. This is very far from Wear OS or Tizen. Instead, Light OS is all about giving you just the essentials. Health essentials, of course, which include continuous heart rate monitoring, GPS-based distance activity tracking, general fitness tracking, and sleep tracking. All of this is through the Huawei Health app, which takes care of all of the aforementioned tasks without relying on third-party installations. And it's not like you could even install any third-party apps. What you see is what you get. That last part is a little bit tougher for me because I generally have my go-to applications when it comes to certain things like sleep tracking or interval training. I recognize that I might be asking for a little more than this watch is meant to provide. But in the Huawei Health app, the workout tracking is pretty, well, light. And I can appreciate how light Huawei wants the experience of the Watch GT to be. The sleep tracking is actually pretty impressive though, with a lot of different metrics that are used in order to give you a sleep score so you know how well you've been sleeping throughout the night. The only problem here is that all of the information is stuck in the app. All the info on the watch is really bare bones. And workout tracking is simply fine, with the heart rate monitor being mostly able to keep up with beat per minute changes as long as they're not as spiked or as frequent as HIIT workouts entail. The general smartwatch experience is pretty minimal. Light OS can give you notifications as they come into the phone and the watch, but there's no way to respond. And controls for things like the phone camera, music now playing, or anything else is also nowhere to be found. This smartwatch experience is all about giving you just the bare bones surface level information, and it's at that point that you decide whether or not you need to take your phone out. With all of the mindful omission, the battery life has mostly lived up to its claims. A lot of my peers and also the claims of this smartwatch are that you can get 2 weeks of battery life if you don't have too many of the settings turned on. The thing is, I do. So I tend to have all of my notifications come in regardless, so this thing is vibrating and turning on based upon the notifications pretty frequently. But even with all of that turned on, I got about a week and a half of battery life, which is still pretty great. After all, spending about 1 hour on a charger every other week as opposed to having to charge it every single night, that is a trade-off I'm willing to make for a good-looking smartwatch that still gives me some smart features. I do wish the quality of life were better. I'm not one to harp on little stutters here and there, but honestly, the anti-smartwatch needs some polish. Sometimes the stutters that do happen when swiping around Light OS will probably irk some users who expect a bit more out of the same company that made the original well-regarded Huawei watch. So as I said, calling this a true smartwatch might be a tiny bit of a stretch when compared to some of its competitors. However, for a price of over $200, you are kind of getting the best looking fitness tracker that's out there right now. Anyone that is truly serious about fitness monitoring might find it a little lacking. But this is a smart wearable that you don't have to worry about very often, as long as you manage your expectations. I do think the Huawei Watch GT shows us that there are varying degrees to a smartwatch, and by stripping away all of our preconceived notions of what a smartwatch is, maybe we can figure out what we truly need out of one. But I want to know what you think of the Huawei Watch GT in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review of the GT. At the time of me making this video, there are still a number of hours left in the giveaway, and I also want to thank you for your patience as I extended the giveaway, so you still had some time to enter in case you hadn't done so already. So once the giveaway is done, I will put in the description down below and make the top comment the announcement of the winner. You're going to want to go to the website to see who the winner is. That giveaway was for this Watch GT and the Huawei Band 3 Pro. Speaking of which, I'll be moving over to the Band now, so you can look forward to that review in the coming days. I'm here in Barcelona, Spain still, so for MWC, keep it tuned to my channel for all of the best coverage, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, I'm going to call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching once again, and remember to enjoy your tea, everybody.